Hello everybody, today we're finally going to be talking about the last, but technically first, Charlie Brown holiday special. Charlie Brown Christmas. So, going back to the 1960s, we find that Charles Schulz has written a bunch of Peanuts comic strips already, and they get noticed by TV producer Lee Mendelson. And he thought Schulz would be the perfect person to contact to help write a little documentary for a baseball player, Willie Mays. This doesn't sound like Charlie Brown. Get to the Charlie Brown already. Shush! We'll get there when we get there. Now, Lee Melendez wanted 1 to 2 minutes of animation for this baseball documentary, so Charles Schulz suggested an old friend, Bill Melendez. Now, this documentary did go over pretty well, but the networks still didn't really want to do anything with the Peanuts going forward until 1965. The Peanuts were published on a magazine cover, which would prompt a call from John Allen of the New York City based from McCain Erickson Agency. And Mendelson agreed, but now, like you said, even though you were rushing me, we'll finally get to Charlie Brown. Basically, John Allen suggested to Mendelson that they do a 30-minute special for Charlie Brown for the Christmas season. And so the stars aligned, and we finally got the approval for Charlie Brown Christmas, which needed a script done by Monday and sent into Atlanta. But the problem was, it was Wednesday. So Mendelson did the only rational thing, left the meeting, headed for a payphone, and called Schulz and said, "Hey, I sold Charlie Brown Christmas." And Schulz was like, "What's that?" And Mendelson was like, "A special we need to write by Monday." And Charles Schulz, probably confused, said, "Monday? You got it." Oh, and I forgot, Coca-Cola also said they'd help, pay for this, so yeah. And so Charles Schulz got to work writing a script that was due on Monday, and he focused mainly on the true meaning of Christmas and his childhood memories of ice skating in St. Paul, Minnesota. And so writing had begun, and Schulz wanted to have a scene where Linus would read from the Bible because he had grown up in the Midwest with, religious parents, and he had a lot of, stuff involving religious things going on in his childhood, so he decided to have Linus read some parts of the Bible, which studio execs didn't like because religion wasn't allowed to be on TV and promoted because TV was just brand new at the time, so But Schulz said, "I'm gonna do it anyway because this is my thing because you already bought it." And so he did. He had Vince Guaraldi compose the soundtrack to be like a Christmas carol with a mix of jazz. And if you've ever heard the soundtrack for any of the Peanuts movies, yeah, that's practically what it sounds like. And so they decided to start casting after the script was finally approved, and so they began casting, and they wanted to get the personalities right from the comics, so it took a couple tries to find, but they decided to land on child actors for the voices of the characters because they thought that that would be a more realistic depiction of these characters' personalities. And honestly, I think that was a great choice because, if you go back and watch, you can really see the childlike energy from these characters, and it was a great choice. Now that the voice cast and the music and the writing were all done, it was on to animation. So originally, Bill Melendez was approached by a CBS executive who wanted an hour of animation for this television special, but Bill Melendez said, maybe just 30 minutes, and after a little bit of talking and arguing, probably, Bill Melendez got his way, and a 30-minute special for Charlie Brown Christmas was approved. The only reason he went with 30 minutes is because he felt like an hour would be too expensive, also because he had never made a 30-minute cartoon, in his life, so. And so the special was made at first with $76,000, which you do the calculations and let me know in the comments, but that was a lot of money back then. Although it did go like $20,000 over budget, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, the animation had started 4 months before the special had to be on air. The day before the premiere, a bunch of animators and executives got together and watched the cartoon, and they did not like it at all. So everyone was like, oh, this is terrible, it'll not run ever again. But one animator, Ed Lovett, said it would run for 100 years, and that guy deserves an award for being psychic, because it's been running for almost 100 years. Okay, well, not really, but it's going to continue to be ran on TV for 100 years. And now we get to the part where the studios fight over it, but if you want a more, explained section, go back to the Charlie Brown Halloween special, because I explained it more there, because that was the first video in this series. But in short, the special switched hand a couple times and is now airing every December thanks to Apple TV+. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Stay golden.